Hey guys, it's Bibzuda here again, back for some more of the Hardcore S Plus walkthrough for Resident Evil 4 Remake, starting in Chapter 6 here, which is a quite difficult chapter because there are essentially two boss fights almost with the Bella Sisters and Chief Mendez at the end. So yeah, this one is quite challenging and can take multiple attempts, so I recommend you make sure you have a save at the beginning of the chapter to avoid any weird time additions that might happen. I go ahead and grab this treasure here, which again is from the extended map. If you don't have that, then don't worry about it. It's not a huge deal. Shotgun shells there, and break this crates open. And here I go ahead and trade my spinels for the red 9 stock and an elegant mask. Definitely think as long as you're using the red 9, you should be picking up the stock. And here I get the elegant mask in order to put 3 rubies in it, and then sell that as well as my original shotgun so I can buy the riot gun, which I definitely think is worth it. The fire rate increase over the original shotgun is absolutely massive, so I would highly recommend getting it. I also buy the flashbang recipe because it is discounted during this chapter. Definitely recommend grabbing that. And I repair my knife for, just so I can have that at full durability. Loot everything out here, and then we're going to go through this section right here, which I've found is a pretty consistent thing to just run straight through. I go ahead and top off my health there with a brown egg. This guy you can stab in the back for free if you want, or you could just ignore him and just run by. Either way. But then this is what I pretty much run every time. I just run straight here. That person loves to walk into that trap. I go around that trap to avoid that guy, and then just stick to the right side here until that trap and run around it. I've been able to do that multiple times in a row without any issue, and then this guy will be coming up for you. So push open the door and run a decent way through, and at this point he will go back pretty much. There's a certain point where he will not keep coming, and then you can come back here and hold the doors open, but people will again think about looking back and trying to come towards you. Just back up if they do. Again, of course, this chapter sponsored by Ashley's Armor Suit. I've said this in multiple of the parts, but if you don't have that, it's very easy to get on New Game Plus. Just beat the game in hardcore in under 10 hours, so I would highly recommend getting that and using it here before doing S Plus runs, since it makes so much of a difference. I used a shotgun there to kill that guy, who is, I think, always a Plaga. I think it's worth it because you get the Chalice of Atonement in there, and you can even get the shotgun shells back from one of these chests potentially, but I did not. But either way, the Chalice is pretty good to get. And then we're going to continue on here to the location where you fight the Bella Sisters. And I like to loot the area prior to fighting. And one of the things you can get, again, from the extended map is this, which is, it's only a spinel, so not a huge deal. There's not much else you really care about with the spinels at this point after you get the red 9 stock. Although it can be nice to buy, the yellow diamond or the red barrel for additional money later on. And yeah, these two people go ahead and showing off the power of my upgraded red 9 with the stock now. One shot that person, and that guy started writhing on the ground, so stabbed him out. Just take those two people out. They're pretty, easy. Just, you got the parries available if needed, or just, shoot them down with the red 9. Loot that handgun ammo in the shed, come back there, grab those crates, and we got some shotgun shells here on these crates as well. A nice yellow herb here off to our left at the top of the stairs for some max health increase. 2 crates, and then we have a, I think it's a green herb and rifle ammo in the second floor of this cabin, but I go ahead and run straight through because there's an additional 2 crates over here, or 2 crates, 1 crate and a barrel, and also one of the old way shrines. The final one that we're going to be opening here with our old way shrine key has an elegant headdress in there. Just a nice little additional bit of money to grab while you're looting the area. Grab the green herb. The rifle ammo on the windowsill can be easy to miss since it's over there. Another 2 lootable objects here. Jump down and unlock the 2 doors and loot the, again, 2 more lootable objects down here. A lot of loot in this area. And then just go ahead and knife off the 2 locks. Of course, if you don't have the Ashley armor suit, have her sit in the locker. If you do, it doesn't really matter. You can grab the first aid spray right there. And I want to go ahead and craft myself a flashbang here just in case. I forgot what the recipe was. It does take the large resources, but only 5 gunpowder. And then we can grab the crank. I find the rifle the best to get staggers on the Bella Sisters. It's usually 2 shots in the head, and you can get a stagger, and then you can go and just kick them over like that. And it's very nice to get that damage and stagger like that. Again, normally if you don't have the the armor suit, she should be in the locker, and Ashley will not be a factor in this fight at all. So don't worry about her screaming all over the place here. The only reason I don't put her in the locker in this scenario is because she can, you know, distract an enemy or two and make it easier for you a little bit. But it's not that big of a deal since she can normally be locked away. But yeah, I came to the top of the stairs here, threw a grenade down, and then just sort of been taking pot shots with the rifle. It's a pretty good spot to stand, but you do need to watch out for people potentially flanking you, as these people are. So break out the riot gun, which is very, very strong, and then continue running along here, just blasting anyone that gets in my way. Fortunately, we get a Plaga here who slashes me, but when Plagas first come out, if they slash you very soon after they came out, then they will not actually damage you, which is nice since it happens again here twice. But since there's 2 Plagas about, I decide to throw my flashbang, which I thought I equipped here, but actually didn't. So this was a bit more dangerous than it needed to be since one of the sisters does run up on me. But yeah, usually 2 or more Plagas or people, you know, that can be killed by it, I will chuck a flashbang. I usually think that tends to be worth it. But yeah, you can kind of just run this loop, although I go way too fast here and mess it up. So I should have stayed at the top of those steps a little longer and waited a little bit so that people would catch up to me. But instead I ran across very quickly, and now I'm scared. As you can see, I'm looking around, I'm freaking out. I'm not sure where both of the Bella sisters are. I see one of them there, but the other one, I'm not sure where it is. But if you see down there, she just came out of the cabin. I didn't see that because I'm blind, but I did just see it now in the post-recording. But you always want to make sure they're behind you and chasing you, because if you get cut off by one of them in front of you, it can be very scary. But yeah, I like running this route. You go around in circles here, either through the cabin or just along the porch deck thing right there. And since I wasn't paying attention, as you see, I run into one of the Bella sisters there, but you have quite a bit of leeway to run backwards here. And since I've taken out a majority of the regular enemies in the area, I wasn't too afraid of doing this. I absolutely troll with my rifle shots there, but yeah, this first one already goes down, and she does have the crank handle, so if you have this happen, you do have the option of trying to just go and crank the door and leave immediately, but I probably wouldn't recommend doing that unless you want to try with a flashbang. But it is a pretty long crank. Unlike the one in Chapter 2, you do have to crank it, like, I think 8 times for it to actually be done, so I wouldn't recommend risking that, and just take out everyone that's here and then go do it. When there's only one sister left, it's much easier to deal with them. The other one, I guess, was the one that I had shot many times with the rifle, and this one, I don't think I had damaged at all up to this point because they take quite a bit to bring down in this last section, but yeah, pretty much just avoid the chainsaw attacks. If you have to use your knife, then do it. It'll just take a huge chunk of the durability away, but obviously better than getting instant killed. So just do whatever you need to do. Since I do recommend, like I was doing previously, whenever you're running around in that other area before this part, you know, where they first emerge, the Bella sisters, to kind of shotgun any people that do show up, you know, in your way, because getting them out of the way makes finishing off the sisters a lot easier. And then she goes down there. So yeah, not too bad. I honestly trolled it quite a bit with my running too far ahead and losing track of one of them, but in the end it wasn't even a big deal and I was able to do it. But yeah, as you can see how long this is, I'm looking behind me because the music is still playing, and I thought maybe a normal enemy would still be alive and come behind me, but it is quite a long crank, and if there's still a sister alive that's coming to potentially one-hit kill you, I just wouldn't recommend it. It's probably worth it to just take them out as well. But overall, not that bad of a section, as long as you keep on the move, keep your distance, and don't miss so many rifle bullets like I did. It is usually not too bad. I don't really recommend the shotgun on the Bella sisters because, for whatever reason, in my experience, it's not that great at staggering them, and you are obviously needing to be in close proximity in which they can easily one-shot you. But grab all the loot in that little cabin and everything in there, and then we have to run away from Chief Mendez. This segment is pretty short and pretty easy, especially, again, with the armor suit helping you out. These guys that are all around here definitely have reduced health. That lead tries to throw a hatchet at me, so I just say screw that. Wait a second for these people to run up and then take advantage of that explosive barrel, but you saw that first guy that I shot went down in 1 bullet, so did she. Missed my shot there, but shoot his arm off, which helps. that guy was kind of hidden behind him and charged me with a pickaxe, or a pitchfork, which I wasn't ready for. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's really not that bad. You can usually kill or stagger those guys in one shot or less. Not or less, what am I talking about? But you can usually kill or stagger the people there in one shot because they seem to have reduced health for that segment, so usually not too bad. And now all we have left for this chapter is the Chief Mendez fight before we run up to the castle. Loot the barrels and stuff around here, and then we're going to do a little bit of adjustments at the merchant. Again, I'm kind of improvising what I do at the merchant here, so it's not really set in stone. You can do what you like. But I just sell off all my treasures and then, of course, repair my knife. And then I'm going to just upgrade my Red 9 to its maximum, I do believe. Or, oh, actually, I do go with rifle power here. That's decent. And also shotgun power. I would obviously recommend upgrading the power of the riot gun here. It's actually very helpful for this fight since the riot gun is very powerful. And I do recommend making an additional save here if I were you to do this fight. I was actually able to do the fight on my first try here, but it was an absolutely abysmal disaster, and I didn't really know what I was doing too much, so I am going to be showing a different fight from a second attempt that I did once I had learned the fight better. So, yeah, I do recommend making that save, but if you are confident with the fight, it's not a big deal, since it is, in my opinion, a pretty easy fight once you get it down. Alright guys, so we are loading up the Chief Mendez save that I made previously, and like I said before, I was able to beat him in my first attempt, but I only had 1 HP remaining pretty much and 0 healing supplies, so I think it's better here to show a better attempt on the boss, and you can re-attempt it as long as you don't die without losing any time. So what you want to do here at the start is immediately just run up and climb this ladder. It's way easier to fight him from up here on the balcony than from down below. Just be ready to dodge with E and loot up here, whatever you want. And then he basically has 3 attacks. There's the E that I dodged at the beginning, this thing that you can parry, there's another dodge of the E. And then this one weird attack, which I think he does right here. Yeah, he'll say come here sometimes, he'll do weird stuff, he'll put his like little hand thingies into the wall and then try and grab you. To dodge that, I just jump down and climb back up, and it seems pretty consistent. I don't know if there's a better way to dodge it, but that works for me. And then just parry the space bar whenever it shows up, dodge the E whenever it shows up, and just unload your riot gun into his eyeball on his back here, and it does a lot of damage and will phase him the most quickly, I believe. And then yeah, so that's pretty much the strategy for this phase. Just rinse and repeat that. If he tries to grab, just jump down, loot the crates and stuff when you have time. And then if he does the parry, you can just use that. It does take quite a lot of knife durability, but you should have a decent amount of kitchen knives if you've been saving those up. And then whenever he goes down, you can do this jump down attack with the knife. There's actually a challenge that requires you to do that called Slaughterhouse Slam. Pretty cool. So you can get that if you haven't done it before. But yeah, being up here, again, makes it very, very easy since it only has 3 attacks and they're all easy to deal with. And yeah, just unload with the shotgun. Other than that, phase 2 is a little bit more difficult. There's one attack that I'm really not confident in dodging, and I think I do get hit by it later during phase 2. It's where he throws the big scattering of flaming planks. If anyone has a good tip on how to dodge that consistently, then let me know. But he doesn't usually use it too often, so it's not a big deal. Another Slaughterhouse Slam there will break my knife, but as you can see, I have 4 kitchen knives available, but each kitchen knife will break in 2 parries, so it is a little bit rough on them when you're using them. They break pretty quick. But yeah, rinse and repeat. Tries to grab, jump down, tries to swing, use your E, and tries to slam, use a spacebar. Now what you want to do for this fight, whenever he does that, basically wait until he's about to throw them and then run. And don't stop, and they'll both miss. But you always want to stay on the opposite side from where he's hanging. So he's hanging on the left right now, so I keep going back to the right whenever I dodge his attack. And this is the attack I was talking about. I'm not really too confident in how you dodge that. Sometimes you can stay still and it won't hit you. Sometimes you have to run a little bit to the right. Like right there, I basically stood still and it missed. But it doesn't do that much damage, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Obviously shoot the barrels whenever he holds them up, and just, yeah, always stay diagonally across from him. And then when he comes up and does this, you are able to usually dodge his attacks with E. I try to run behind him usually, and then sometimes he'll turn around and you can run back behind him, and then you can hit him in the back on the eye, which does tons of damage. Here I staggered him over and over and got a bunch of damage off with the riot gun. That's very effective in my opinion. And then, yeah, always stay in this diagonal. See, he switches sides there. I immediately switch sides because he does that attack, which can easily hit you. It's almost impossible to dodge unless you're already preemptively being diagonally across. And as you see, that's it. Fight's done. So very, very solid strategy there for phase 2. Basically, always stay diagonally opposed to him. Never be on the same side as he is. Whenever he does the 2 flaming throws, just stay on the side you're on, and then right when he starts to throw, run all the way across the other side, and then go back. And then for the one where he throws the scattered flaming planks, it's kind of just hope that you don't get hit by it. Again, it doesn't do that much damage, so it's not a big deal. End of chapter right here. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Mendez fight to give some additional tips. Whenever he comes down from the top and tries to, do swings at you, most of them you can dodge with E, and then try to run behind him while he's on the front row, and then either he will turn around or you can just get some shotgun blasts on him before he turns around. But either way, just try and unload into his back there, and you will get a lot of free damage in that way, and that does a ton of damage and gets his health down really, really well. So yeah, that's pretty much the main strategies I recommend. And whenever you have a chance, do unload into his back. It does stagger him or make him flinch quite a bit. He can often, even if you do enough damage while he's up there, get knocked down off of the rafters, and then you can do a knife stab into his eyeball as well, which can deal some good damage. But overall, not too bad of a fight once you know what you're doing. The phase 1 is very easy, just uses up a lot of knife durability. Just make sure you know those 3 attack animations. The E gives you plenty of time to dodge. I think there is one other attack that he can do while you're up there, but it's very rare, where he kind of like twists himself several times around and then lets it go and does like a big whirlwind attack. If you notice himself starting to twist, I would probably recommend just jumping down if that is something that works. If not, I mean, it's a really rare attack and it won't kill you in one hit, so you can always just end up tanking it if you have to. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Chapter 6 and the Village section of Resident Evil 4 Remake. I hope this helps you guys out on the Hardcore S Plus walkthrough. Next up, we have the castle starting up, which can be pretty difficult. So especially the water room. Looking forward to giving that a shot. Definitely want flashbangs at the ready for that. But yeah, hope this is helping you guys out. I'll be back with some more chapters in shortly, and I'll see you for that. Peace out.